Alright, so let us begin for today. We will cover the systems of government for today. Okay. So systems of government means let us first get a rough idea about what is government, what is state, and the governance systems. Okay. So the first idea is the state. State is run by the government, and government functions in various types. Those types can be studied under governance systems. Okay. So let us see what is ତ ଦେଖ ତମ ପ୍ରିଭିୟସ୍ ସେସନରେ ବି ତମକୁ କହିଛି ଷ୍ଟେଟ ର ଚାରିଟା ଫିଚର ଥିବା ଦରକାର ଏସେନ୍ସିଆଲ ଫିଚର ଏଟା ୟୁପିଏସସି ରେ ହିଁ ପଚାରିଛି ଷ୍ଟେଟ ର ଚାରିଟା ଫିଚର ହଉଛି ଫାର୍ଷ୍ଟ ଗୋଟେ ଟେରିଟୋରୀ ଥିବ ଟେରିଟୋରୀରେ କିଛି ଇଣ୍ଡିଭିଜୁଆଲ ମାନେ ଥିବେ ଏଇ ଇଣ୍ଡିଭିଜୁଆଲ ମାନଙ୍କୁ ରୁଲ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଗୋଟେ ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣମେଣ୍ଟ ଥିବ ଓକେ ଗୋଟେ ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣମେଣ୍ଟ ଥିବ ସେ ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣମେଣ୍ଟ ସୁଡ୍ ବି ସଭରେନ୍ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣମେଣ୍ଟ ସୁଡ୍ ବି ସଭରେନ୍ ସୋ ଫାର୍ଷ୍ଟ ଗୋଟେ ଟେରିଟୋରୀ ଦରକାର ଟେରିଟୋରୀରେ କିଛି ଲୋକ ଦରକାର ଲୋକମାନଙ୍କୁ ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଗୋଟେ ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣିଂ ବଡି ଦରକାର that is called the government and this government should be sovereign ଯଦି ଆମେ ଦେଖିବା ପାଲେଷ୍ଟାଇନ ଆଉ ଇସ୍ରାଏଲ କେସରେ ତ ପାଲେଷ୍ଟାଇନକୁ ସେପାରେଟ ଷ୍ଟେଟ ଭାବେ କନସିଡର କରାଯିବନି ବିକଜ ଇସ୍ରାଏଲର ବହୁତ ଇନଫ୍ଲୁଏନ୍ସ ରହୁଛି ପାଲେଷ୍ଟାଇନ ଉପରେ so Israel can be considered as a separate state because it does not have its sovereignty although it has territory population and a governing body but it does not have sovereignty okay so state ର essential feature ଏଇ ଚାରିଟା state को govern करे गोटे government it is a group exercising authority in a state over laws and services okay so this government rules over the people and depending on the type of government there can be several governance systems तो आमे आज various governance systems पढ़िबा or systems of government okay so governance system is the division of authority between structure between legislative, executive, and judiciary. So we will see about this in the further topics, subsequent sections. So state, as I have already said, it is an institution representing sovereign people under a government within a territory free from external control. Okay. So these are four components of a state. A community of persons permanently occupying territory plus organized government can also be called a state. Okay, UPSC रे एटा previous question पचारतला what is a state? So meaning of government, government is a group exercising authority over a territory and people. It creates laws and enforces laws, manages the public affairs and provides essential services. So what are systems of government? They define the division of authority between legislature, executive and judiciary. They determine a country's governance structure. So types of government. Government କେମିତି ସବୁ ପ୍ରକାର ଅଛି ଗୋଟେ ହେଉଛି unitary system. Unitary system means ଦେଖ unitary ଆମେ ଦିଟା ପ୍ରକାର government ପଢିବା ଗୋଟେ ହେଉଛି unitary ଆଉ federal. Federal ରେ ତମର government ର division ହେଇଥିବ ଦିଟା କି two or more than two levels. कि सेंट्रल लेवल रे गोटे गवर्नमेंट स्टेट लेवल रे गोटे गवर्नमेंट और लोकल लेवल रे गोटे गवर्नमेंट इट कैन बी मोर देन 3 आल्सो यूनिटरी लेवल रे कोन देयर इज वन सुप्रीम गवर्नमेंट ओके यूनिटरी गवर्नमेंट रे सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट दैट इज द वन सुप्रीम गवर्नमेंट होल्ड्स ऑल द पावर्स रीजनल अथॉरिटीज दे derive their power from the center they do not have any independent existence okay they derive their existence and authority and power from the central government so features strong central government okay single and strong central government such type of unitary government may have a written constitution or an unwritten constitution written constitution like France or unwritten like Britain supreme or non-supreme we can equate the same idea okay with written or unwritten constitution rigid constitution or flexible constitution amending procedure can be rigid or may be flexible bicameral or unicameral or Britain okay so uh, unitary government it can have any of these features okay federal system division between a central and regional governments okay both enjoy constitutional autonomy I mean unitary देखिलु they derive their power from the center but federal government रे federal system रे तमरो constitution guarantees the existence of the levels of government at the federal level or the central level and the state level okay that is guaranteed the union तमरो state level କରିପାରିବ ନାହିଁ okay both the levels enjoy constitutional autonomy example USA Switzerland Australia Canada Russia Brazil Argentina Germany okay these are examples of federal system where there is constitutionally separation between federal and state level confederate system what is this regional governments hold most of the power okay ଏବେ କଣ ଆମେ ଦେଖିଲେ federalism ରେ दीटा को गवर्नमेंट सेपरेट हेची एबे यूनिटरी गवर्नमेंट रे सेंटर इज स्ट्रांग स्टेट्स आर वीक ओके एबे कॉन्फेडरेट सिस्टम रे दी states are strong states are strong means the regional governments are strong the central government is weak. Regional governments, they hold most power. Weak central authority relies on voluntary compliance by the states. Flexible constitution. Okay, because the constitution is flexible, most probably it is flexible. It can also be rigid also. ଯଦି ସେ କହିଥିବ ଯେ state constitution ରେ ହିଁ ଯଦି କୁହାଯାଇଥିବ ଯେ states will hold more power, then written rigid constitution ରେ ବି confederate system ରହିପାରିବ. Example, former Soviet Union ଏଠି ହବନି because Soviet Union ରେ ତମର center ହିଁ strong ଥିଲା, states were just the subsidiaries of the center. ଏଟା ତମର European Union will be a better example of this confederate system. Switzerland canton system. Okay, so confederate system ରେ regional governments are powerful, central government is weak. Then comes the constitutional government. A government operates within the limits of constitution, that is the supreme law of land, and ensures limited government for safeguarding individual liberty. Okay. तो এটা already ମୁଁ previous session ରେ explain କରିଛି ଯେ constitutional government ମାନେ କଣ, constitutionalism କଣ, constitutional government ମାନେ କଣ, ଏଟା ମୁଁ already explain କରିଛି ଯେ constitutional government ରେ ଯେହେତୁ government will exercise all the power, it is all powerful. ତ ତାକୁ ଚେକ୍ କରିବା ପାଇଁ individual ଆଉ civil society କୁ କିଛି rights ଦିଆଯାଇଥାଏ ଯେ ଏଇ ରାଇଟ୍ ରେ ତମର ସେଣ୍ଟ୍ରାଲ ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣମେଣ୍ଟ ଇଣ୍ଟରଫିୟର କରିପାରିବ ନାହିଁ. ଓକେ, these rights guaranteed by the constitution limit the power of the central government. Okay, that's why a constitutional government is also called a limited government. Okay, limited government. Please note এটা ବହୁତ ଥର ପଚାରିଛି, this is an important topic. And key aspects. Okay, key aspects of constitutional government. Key aspects of constitutional government: source of power. Constitution is the ultimate source of authority. It protects the fundamental rights of the citizen. Limitation of government, as I have already said, limitations enforced by the constitution to limit the arbitrary execution of power by the central government, that is guaranteed in the constitution itself. Okay, restrains the sovereign authority of state, establishes a limited government. Okay, same thing ଗୋଟେ diagram ରେ explain କରାଯାଇଛି. Government structure ଆମେ already ଦେଖିଲେ ଯୋଉଟା unitary system. Central government holds all power. Regional authorities derive their authority from the center. They may have a written or unwritten constitution, rigid or flexible constitution, bicameral or unicameral legislature. Federal system, powers are divided between central and regional governments with constitutionally defined autonomy. Federation ରେ states have constitutionally defined autonomy. For example, US, Switzerland, Australia, Canada. Confederate system, regional governments have more power compared to the central government, and the central government relies on voluntary compliance by the regional governments. They have a flexible constitution. Switzerland canton system. Okay, canton system. And ତମେ ଏଟା ଡିଟେଲ ଜାଣିବା ଦରକାର ନାହିଁ, ସ୍ୱିଜରଲ୍ୟାଣ୍ଡ canton system. Just know that ସ୍ୱିଜରଲ୍ୟାଣ୍ଡ ରେ ଏମିତି confederate system ଚାଲେ. Okay, then constitutional government operates within the limitations set by the country's constitution. The constitution places effective restrictions on the authority of the state in interest of individual liberty by restricting the arbitrary action of the state. So key aspect is constitutional role in constraining the sovereign government in their ruling capacity, establishing a limited government. Okay, এটা গলা now forms of government আমি ଦେଖିଦେବା parliamentary form, presidential form and semi presidential form of government. Okay, just এটা ଦେଖିଦେବା, এটা exam ରେ ବି ବହୁତ ଥର ପଚାରିଛି. parliamentary form, presidential form, semi presidential form ବି ତମର most probably this କରିଛନ୍ତି France and Russia. ओके, तमरो एथर ओपीएससी मेंस रे भी तमरो फ्रांस रो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन संगे कंपेयर करिया को पचार दी थला एथर. ओके, सो एटा जानिया दरकार हमरो. So features of government: executive authority or parliamentary system. Prime minister leads the government. Prime minister is the de facto head of the government. Prime minister derives their authority from the parliament. Okay, first हमें parliamentary दिख दवा, तापरे अलगा अलगा देखिया, because parliamentary system इंडिया रो आगे एटा देखि दवा. So PM leads the government, defined by the parliament. His authority is defined by the parliament. With legislature, PM can be removed by vote of no confidence. That is true. Idea of collective responsibility under Article 75. Cabinet composition: cabinet members are typically from the legislature only. Okay, cabinet composition means the executive and legislature they do not have any watertight separation. Legislation plays a crucial role in governance and policy making. Okay, stability can be unstable. Okay, government can change frequently. ଯଦି ତମର majority support by the government, then it can become a coalition government or an unstable government. Quick decision making due to close ties between legislature and executive. Okay, because the executive is formed out of the legislature, so there can be quick decision making. And please note, ଏଇଟା ତମର delayed decision making भी ହେଇପାରେ in case of coalition government. Okay, where the individual governments, they try to save the government rather than take decisions. Okay, ସେଥିରେ delayed decision making भी ହେଇପାରେ parliamentary system under ରେ. Constitution often more flexible due to evolving nature of parliamentary practices. Okay, parliamentary practices, they are evolving, so constitution is flexible. Example, UK, India, Canada. So merits out. Okay, features आगे देखा, तापर merit event को जीवा. Presidential system रे president is both the head of state and the head of government. Okay, the president is elected independently. Independently by the people directly. Actually, the prime minister is elected indirectly by the people. Okay, prime minister is elected indirectly. Dual government, जो semi presidential system रे dual executive, president and prime minister share authority. Okay, दीटा institution रहिबे, तांकर respective power रहिबो, but they share authority. Parliamentary system रे तमरो president ର ସେମିତି କିଛି power ନାହିଁ. President is a nominal head under parliamentary system, but it is semi presidential ରେ both president and parliament share authority. Presidential ରେ president cannot be easily removed, they have fixed term. Okay, एथरे semi presidential ରେ president is elected, prime minister is accountable to legislature. Okay, so एथरे भी सेमती तमरा accountability रहिछि. The cabinet members of the president are appointed by the president. They may not be part of legislature. Please note this. They are appointed under the pleasure of the president. Okay, they may not be part of the legislature, not necessary. एथरे semi presidential रे cabinet includes members from both president and the legislature. Okay, एथरे तमरो president रो भी power, significant power होची. तमरो president रो power होची, तमरो PM रो भी power होची. Okay, cabinet members include members, president भी part of cabinet हेई परिबो. Okay, legislature has limited influence over president रो decision in presidential system. Legislature has limited influence because president को बहुत autonomy दिया है to run the country according to his will. Okay, semi presidential legislature has power, but it also shares power with the president. Okay, तो दी जन पाखरे power ଅଛି, president पाखरे भी, legislature power पाखरे भी. It is more stable, fixed terms provide consistency. Okay, USA तमरा जेंति presidential system, it is quite stable. So semi presidential stability may vary depending on the balance of power, because it is dita authority रहुचंती, president plus prime minister dita authority रहुचंती. तो depending on the situation, it can be stable or cannot be stable, depending on the level of understanding between the PM and the president. Slower decision making. Okay, it can be slower, it can also be faster decision making. President may face opposition from Congress. Okay, एतरे faster decision making भी हेई पारे president system रे, because तांकर किछि independent experts मानको करा होची, बेसी का consultation करा जाउनी, तो faster decision making हेई पारियो. But जदि Congress ताको challenge कला, then it can be slow. Decision making may be efficient, but it may face conflicts. Again, same logic as I have given here. Generally, rigid or fixed terms as defined in the constitution under presidential system can be both flexible and rigid depending on the balance of power. Okay, as I have already explained. US, Brazil, Mexico, एटा होची तमरो presidential system. France, Russia, Ukraine रे तमरो semi presidential system. So parliamentary system there is harmony between legislature and executive. Okay, because the executive comes out from the legislature only. Responsible government answerable to parliament. Okay, collective responsibility under, as I said, under Article 75. Power is not centralized because the cabinet or the council of ministers headed by the prime minister, they ensure collective authority. Okay, जहाँ पे agreement करिवे समस्ते मिसी करिवे, नहले जदि किछि no confidence motion आसला मिसी के resign करिवे. Opposition can serve as an alternative if the ruling party loses majority. Okay, council of minister, they reflect wide representation of diverse sections in governance. Okay, because council minister रे अलगा अलगा section रो अलगा अलगा जति अलगा अलगा members जति elect हेतिवे, that can represent the diverse section of the society. Parliamentary president system रे stable government, as you have seen, definiteness in policies. Okay, definiteness in policies because गोटाई लोक करूची तो बहुत गोटे लोक कंसल्ट करिया दरकार नहीं. It is based on separation of powers between executive and legislature, government by experts, as I have said कि not necessary कि legislature ही तमरा members appoint करा जिबे, ministers appoint करा जिबे. Okay, so government by experts. Direct mandate from the electorate enhances legitimacy. Okay, president is directly elected from the people. Okay, so तार प्रेसिडेंट रो बेसी लेजिटिमेसी अच्छी प्रेसिडेंशियल सिस्टम रे. पार्लियामेंट्री सिस्टम रे पीएम इज इलेक्टेड एज एन एमपी टू पार्लियामेंट बट इट पीएम इज इनडायरेक्टली इलेक्टेड ओके बाय द पॉलिटिकल पार्टी इन पावर इन द हाउस. ओके, now semi presidential combines the strength of both the system. Flexible power distribution अच्छी तमर कोऑपरेशन भी encourage करा जाए, stable leadership भी रहिबो, but parliament can also remove an unpopular prime minister. Okay, thus ensuring stability. Okay, stability है पारे इधर unstability भी है पारे, तो checks and balances अच्छी, alignment with development. Okay, an independent PM fosters political and economic growth. Okay, तो जदि PM ऊपर बेसी प्रेसिडेंट रो जदि रेस्ट्रिक्शन रहिबनी कि बहुत जदि मिसी मिसी काम करिवे तो इट विल पॉलिटिकल एंड इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ. ओके, एटा एते किसी सिग्निफिकेंट इंपोर्टेंट पॉइंट नो. डिमेरिट्स जदि पार्लियामेंट्री सिस्टम रे लॉस ऑफ मेजॉरिटी हेले इट कैन लीड टू फ्रीक्वेंट गवर्नमेंट चेंजेस. न्यू गवर्नमेंट्स दे अल्टर एग्जिस्टिंग पॉलिसीज. ओके, तो गोटे गवर्नमेंट पर आउट गवर्नमेंट जदि आसीला से ताको ता पॉलिसी को से छाड़ दबो तो पॉलिसी रो कंटिन्यूटी मेंटेन नहीं परिबन. ओके, एज वी हैव सीन ड्यूरिंग द 5 year plans. Strong cabinet can centralize power. Okay, जदि political party गोटे majority रे political party अच्छी तो that will they can centralize power. Broad separation of powers, as we have seen, legislature executive with water trade separation nahi. Ministers may not be specialists. Okay, एथरे कौन अच्छी तम काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर जो मान रहिबे they can only be from the legislature, so they may not be specialists, thus limiting effective governance. President system रे conflict between legislative and executive. Okay, जदि तम disagreement हला तो सबले conflict रहिबो between legislature and executive. Non responsible government. Okay, एमिति किछि नाही जे नो कॉन्फिडेंस मोशन भलिया प्रेसिडेंट को डायरेक्टली इलेक्ट करागला ताको छाड़ दिया जीवो से जेमती पॉलिसी करिवो देमसे जेमती देश चलेबो. ओके, सो रेस्पोंसिबिलिटी नाही गवर्नमेंट. It may lead to autocracy. Okay, it may lead to autocracy. Even parliamentary system, if under a strong cabinet, also may lead to autocracy. Narrow representation. Okay, it depends on the will of the president whether he is willing to appoint a diverse cabinet or not. It can be narrow representation. Difficulty in achieving consensus. Okay, so legislature or executive they are pura separate. So bele bele it can be difficult to achieve consensus. Semi-presidential potential conflict between PM and president. Okay, leading to inefficiencies. Responsibility किसी clear है जदि policy outcome किसी हला तमरा दीटा हेड अछि PM अछि president भी चलउछि जदि policy outcome किसी खराब हला they may try to engage in blame game. Okay, so unclear responsibility. Vote of confidence may disrupt the legislative process. Okay, that is true. Vote of confidence यदि हला तमरा PM को यदि बाहर कर दिया गला it may disrupt the legislative process. Unpopular policies can be deflected to PM. Okay, so PM ऊपर सब डायरेक्ट दायित्व दीजिए president दायित्व दे दबो जे यदि unpopular policy किछि हला everything can be deflected to PM, as we have also seen here. तमरा unclear responsibility. So again obscuring true accountability. Okay, dual government जेमती तमर चलथला ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट अंडर रे तमर डायरकी इन बंगाल चलथला dual government in Bengal. तो एथरे भी dual government जेहेतु रहउची accountability may be obscure. Now comes the government. India रे कोन government चलछि constitutional basis. India follows parliamentary system. At center and states, executive is responsible to legislature for its policies and acts. Under Article 75, as I have already said, parliamentary government is also called the cabinet government or responsible government or the Westminster model. Okay, cabinet government because cabinet ही चलौछि तमरा government को पूरा. Responsible government because the government is collectively responsible to the legislature. Westminster model because it has been adopted from the UK constitution. Okay, countries Britain, Japan, Canada, India. So parliamentary government is parliamentary. The idea of parliamentary government is defined by the Articles 74, 75 in state, in center, and Article 163 and 184. एटा तमे again plus 89 एटा मुला सेशन कहथि plus 89 कर दियो सेंटर रे जोटा रहबो plus 89 कर दियो स्टेट रे पहुंच दियो. Article 74, that is the council of minister headed by prime minister should aid and advise the president. Okay, that is the function of parliamentary government where the president is a nominal head. Article 75. Article 75 is appointment of Prime Minister plus Council of Ministers, where the collective responsibility lies with the Council of Ministers headed by the Prime Minister. Okay. Similarly for states. So why we adopted parliamentary system? Because familiarity, because already parliamentary system in colonial time introduced ହେଇ ସାରିଥିଲା ଆଉ ଆମର constitutional framers ମାନେ they were already acquainted with the system during British rule. Responsibility, Dr. Ambedkar stressed that democratic executive should ensure stability and accountability. Okay, the responsibility ରହିବା ଦରକାର, ତାର stability ରହିବା ବି ଦରକାର, accountability ବି ରହିବା ଦରକାର towards legislature to avoid conflicts, because to prevent the executive and legislative conflict, that is vital for a young democracy like India. Representation, small constituencies ensure inclusivity of India's diversity. As we have already seen, parliamentary system re tomara cabinet they are usually appointed from diverse sections. Okay, that ensures India's diversity and inclusivity. Features of parliamentary system in India: nominal and real executive. President is the nominal head. Okay, nominal head, that is de jure head. Prime minister is the real head. But gote gote jagare तुमको lekha ହେଇଛି je president is the nominal head. President is also the real head, de facto head, because government ର ସବୁ act ତମର president ର ନାଁରେ ହିଁ କରାଯାଉଛି। ତ ତାକୁ because ଯେହେତୁ de jure ରେ ବି ଲେଖା ହଉଛି but de facto ବି କୁହାଯାଉଛି। but ଯେହେତୁ ତମ ଲକ୍ଷ୍ମୀକାନ୍ତରେ ଦେଇଛି ଯେ PM is the de facto head, PM is the de facto head, and President is the de jure head. So stick to this only. Okay. President who's the de jure head, PM is the de facto head. Okay. Stick to this only. Then comes the majority party rule of parliamentary system of India. Parliament with majority in Lok Sabha forms the government. President appoints the Prime Minister under Article 75, and under Article 75, the advice of PM. Ministers, the Council of Ministers and other ministers are appointed by the President on the PM's advice. Okay, that is specified, that has been specified under Article 75. Collective responsibility, the Council of Ministers are collectively responsible to Lok Sabha. 75 article, they can be removed by a vote of no confidence. Okay, no confidence motion. Article, exactly article, but tomorrow 75 clause 3. Article 75 clause 3 रे तो कुहाइछि the Council of Ministers shall be collectively responsible to the House of People. Okay, so Article 75 clause 3 ରୁ ହିଁ तमरो idea of collective responsibility को derive करा जाए और सेथरु ही आमे derive करू जे जदी collective responsibility न रखी पारले they can be removed through a no confidence motion. All right. Double membership, again ministers are members of both executive and legislature. Dissolution of Lok Sabha, president can dissolve Lok Sabha before expiry of its term on PM's advice. Article 85 रे एटा को आइछि। So ई जो आर्टिकल गुडा जो हाइलाइट करछि सेही गुडा ही मन रखियो, बिकॉज़ सेही गुडा ही इंपोर्टेंट तमरो तम पॉइंटर भाबी यूज कर परिबो। Secrecy, ministers affirm to a oath of secrecy to maintain confidentiality in decisions and proceedings. 75 रे को आइछि। So why we adopted the parliamentary system? Because of familiarity, chosen due to familiarity from British rule, responsibility of democratically elected leaders. Okay, so Ambedkar କହିଥିଲେ ଯେ we need stability plus accountability by the democratically elected leaders, conflict prevention, because the legislature, the executive is formed from the legislature only. So there is a chance of less conflict between the two, which was crucial for a young democracy. Representation ensures diverse societal interests are represented. That's why we adopted parliamentary system in India. Again, same thing. Found parliamentary governance re executive or legislature relationship, close bond between the two. So where executive emerges from legislature, executive is responsible to the legislature, executive accountable to legislature under Article 75. Okay, collective responsibility. Article 75 is article of collective responsibility. Dual executive, the presence of both है nominal and real head, real executive, each with distinct roles. Okay, so এটা parliamentary convention रो हमें adopt करछु। Britain रे queen अछि, ଆମର एठी president अछि as the nominal head of the government. Secrecy, necessity to keep cabinet proceedings confidential. PM as the leader, pivotal role of PM as the leader. Bicameralism, structure having two legislative chambers. Bicameralism, no fixed tenure. The government's term is contingent on maintaining majority support. Okay. 5 ବର୍ଷ ତମର ଯଦି then ବି ତମର 5 ବର୍ଷ ପୂର୍ବରୁ ବି ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣମେଣ୍ଟ government can dissolve. Okay, so there is actually no fixed tenure. So but parliamentary governance, now the federal system of India. Okay, so Indian constitution and the federal system. So uh, background ଅଛି ତମର USA was the first and the oldest federation. Okay, 1787 ରେ after American Revolution of 1775 and 1783, India, the constitution establishes a federal system through the though the word federation is not mentioned. Please note, federal India is a federal system, but the word federation has never been mentioned in the constitution. Okay, the Indian model is inspired from Canada mostly. Unlike USA, Indian federalism did not arise from an agreement among the states. Okay, states ମାନେ କୌଣସି ଆଗ୍ରିମେଣ୍ଟ କରିନାହାନ୍ତି ଯେ ୟୁନିୟନ ସାଙ୍ଗରେ ଆମେ ଗୋଟେ ଫେଡେରେସନ ଫର୍ମ କଲୁ। ଓକେ, ସେମିତି କିଛି ଆଗ୍ରିମେଣ୍ଟ ହେଇନି। ଇଣ୍ଡିଆନ ଫେଡେରେସନ ହାଜ ଷ୍ଟ୍ରଙ୍ଗ ସେଣ୍ଟର, ହାଜ ଏ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆନ ଫେଡେରାଲିଜମ ହାଜ ଏ ସେଣ୍ଟର ୱିଥ ୟୁନିଟରୀ ବାଇସ୍। ଓକେ, ତ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆନ ଫେଡେରେସନ ର ତମେ ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷ ମନେ ରଖ, କନସେପ୍ଟ ଅଫ ଫେଡେରେସନ ମାନେ ହିଁ ଡୁଆଲ ପଲିଟି। ଓକେ, ମୋଷ୍ଟଲି ଡୁଆଲ ପଲିଟି। ତମର ଗୋଟେ ସେଣ୍ଟ୍ରାଲ ଲେଭେଲରେ ଗୋଟେ ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣମେଣ୍ଟ ରହିବ, ତମର ଷ୍ଟେଟ ଲେଭେଲରେ ଗୋଟେ ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣମେଣ୍ଟ ରହିପାରିବ, ତମର ଲୋକାଲ ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣମେଣ୍ଟ ମାନେ ବି ରହିପାରିବେ, ତାଙ୍କୁ ଡିଭଲ୍ୟୁସନ ପାୱାର କରାଯାଇ ଥାଇପାରେ। ଓକେ, ଫେଡେରେସନ ର ଆଇଡିଆ ହିଁ ଦେयर ଆର୍ ମଲ୍ଟିପଲ ଲେଭେଲ୍ସ ଅଫ ଗଭର୍ନାନ୍ସ। ଓକେ, ଫେଡେରେସନ ର ସ୍ପିରିଟ ଅଫ ଫେଡେରେସନ ଇଜ ଡିସେଣ୍ଟ୍ରାଲାଇଜେସନ। ଓକେ, ଏଇ ଜିନିଷଟା ମନେ ରଖ, ବାକି ସବୁ ତମର ଆଜ ଏ କୋରୋଲାରୀ ତମେ ଡିରାଇଭ୍ କରିପାରିବ। Federal structure: India is the union of states under Article 1, reflects the socio-cultural diversity and large size. Okay, because union of states, because सब स्टेट रे बहुत गुडे कल्चर अच्छी, बहुत गुडे साइज अच्छी, पॉपुलेशन अधिका अच्छी, तो it reflects, the Indian Federation reflects socio-cultural diversity and large size. Quasi-federal, normal condition रे division of powers अच्छी, states enjoy autonomy, but exceptional condition रे the union government becomes strong and to ensure national integrity. For example, the बहुत गुडे तमर अच्छी, जेमती तमर emergency condition हो, तमर war हो, कि तमर कि जो टाइम रे तमर जदि इंटरनल डिस्टर्बेंस हो, कि आर्म रेबेलियन हे जो से टाइम रे, दोज आर एक्सेप्शनल कंडीशंस। Judicial interpretation on Indian federalism, SR Bommai case. Federalism is the basic structure of constitution. States have supreme authority within their sphere. Okay, within their own sphere, they have supreme authority. It recognizes the practical realities of Indian polity. Okay, SR Bommai case रे तो कहा था जे तमरो president rule cannot be imposed arbitrarily on the states. Okay, so कौन होता जे president rule लगेगी तो state government माने को dismiss करा जाउथला। So SR Bommai case रे कहा था जे federalism is the basic structure, state government, as I have said, federalism is the spirit of decentralization, the spirit of decentralization को arbitrarily भांगी हेई परिबो नाही। Okay, again that solve the practical realities of Indian politics। तो आगुर जोटा होतला problem सेटा को आइडेंटिफाई करागला SR Bommai case रे। Political scientists on Indian federalism। Okay, तो ये जो पॉइंट गुड़ा अच्छी तमरो पॉलिटिकल साइंटिस्ट मानकर व्यू एटा जस्ट पढ़ी दबो, एटा तमरो मेंस रे ही तमरो ये जो कोट गुड़ा यूज कर परिबो फेडरलिज्म ऊपर जदी क्वेश्चन आसीला। ओके, के संतनम नोट्स यूनिटरी बायस ड्यू टू सेंट्रल रो फिस्कल डोमिनेंस। ओके, फाइनेंशियल डोमिनेंस। ओके, के संतनम तब जानिଛ, so he headed the committee on prevention of corruption and his committee also shaped and established the Central Vigilance Commission of India। Okay, तब एटा भी मन रखो, के संतनम he was a member of the Constituent Assembly, also के संतनम। So foundation of Indian federalism, constitution रे ही कहैछि, constitution establishes a federal system without mentioning the term federation, without explicitly using the term. It is modeled after the Indian system of USA। Okay, where USA तम स्टेट माने एग्रीमेंट करछन्ती सेंटर संगे जे हम फेडरेशन तयारी करिवु, सेमिति किछि एग्रीमेंट इंडिया केस रे हेइनी। Union of states, Indian federation is a union of states that reflects the diversity and size। Quasi-federalism, okay, quasi-federalism balance करा जाए state autonomy and national integrity। There is a compromise between normal division of powers under which states enjoy autonomy within their own spheres, but in emergency times when there is a need to preserve national integrity and unity, the union government becomes stronger. The government acts as a unitary government। Supreme Court, SR Bommai case, federalism is basic structure and states have their authority within their own sphere। Non-agreement, okay, किछ agreement ହେଇନି, एटा को कहि already। The federation did not arise from an agreement between the states। Okay, the men's perspective. Okay, Paul Appleby, he said that he described the system as extremely federal, highlighting the decentralized nation. Okay, see, our Indian federalism is quite decentralized. It is extremely federal. Maurice Jones, he called it bargaining federalism, that there is a negotiation among the different levels of government. Ivor Jennings characterized the federation with a strong centralizing tendency. Alexandrovich states that India is a federation sui generis. It has its own version, its unique character of federalism. Granville Austin calls it cooperative federalism tailored to India's specific needs. Casey Ware, he considers India a semi-federal, quasi-federal state, thus highlighting the mixed characteristics. K. Santhanam, he points out the unitary bias due to central dominance on financial matters. Okay, Dr. B. R. Ambedkar, he emphasized the federation, indestructibility, and constitutional authority. And Indian Constitution is a federal constitution with a dual polity where both the union and states derive their authority from constitution. Okay, so this is all about Indian federalism. The federal features. Okay, ମୁଁ ଯେମିତି କହିଲି decentralization is the heart and soul of federalism. Okay, so decentralization means there are multiple levels of government. Okay, dual polity କି ତାଠୁ ଅଧିକା ବି ହେଇପାରେ levels of government. ତ ଯଦି ଦେଖ dual polity is the basic structure of federalism. ତମେ କହିପାରିବ it can be the basic structure of federalism where union and states manage the district, national and local affairs respectively. Okay, ଯଦି dual polity ହେଇଛି डिविजन ऑफ पावर ହେଇଛି ସେ डिविजन ଟା ଗୋଟେ कोडिफाइड हवा दरकार पूरा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन लेखा हवा दरकार सो दैट नीड्स ए रिटन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन so world's longest constitution with clear central and state jurisdiction written constitution okay written constitution रे तमरा division of powers को मेंशन करा हवा दरकार division of powers center and state legislature and concurrent subjects but center prevails in case of conflicts okay okay the unitary bias अछि but division of powers specify करा ହେଇଛି under 7th schedule. Then constitutional supremacy, again written constitution, constitutional supremacy, same thing. The laws are codified and the laws should be followed. And who ensures the supremacy of constitution? That is the Supreme Court. Okay, the Supreme Court ensures the supreme law through judicial review under Article 13. Rigid constitution, amendments require special procedure under Article 368 because the codification ହେଇଛି ତାକୁ ବାରମ୍ବାର ଚେଞ୍ଜ କରି ହବନି to preserve the power of states ଯେ ଯିଏ ଯାହା ଲାଇନ ରେ ଯାହାର ଯେତିକି ପାୱାର ସେ ସେତିକି ହିଁ ଏକ୍ସରସାଇଜ କରିପାରିବ bicameralism राज्यसभा is the house of states and Lok Sabha is the house of people. Independent judiciary, okay, judiciary is independent to interpret the provisions of constitution and ensure that this separation is maintained, this federal structure is maintained as Supreme Court settles the central state disputes and guards the constitutional supremacy under these articles. Okay, so federal features of Indian constitution ଏବେ ଆସିଲା unitary features. Unitary feature କ'ଣ ତମର ଯୋଉ କେସ୍ ରେ ତମର ଏଇ dual polity ରହିବନି କୋଉ ଜାଗାରେ ତମର central government unitary government କି central government powerful ହେଇଯିବ all powerful ହେଇଯିବ. Unitary feature of basic structure होची strong center. Union has more important subjects and overriding powers on the concurrent list, as you know. Same constitution for both center and states. No equal state representation in the houses. Okay, Rajya Sabha representation is population based, not state based. Unlike USA Senate, जो 50 state रे दीटा representative, total 100 representative, equal representation to states. सेମିତି କିଛି ନାହିଁ ଆମ ରାଜ୍ୟ ସଭାରେ. States are not indestructible. Parliament can change the state boundaries. Okay, under Article 3, unitary strong center को reflect करूची. Flexible constitution. Most provisions are amended by Parliament alone. Okay, most provisions of constitution can be amended by simple majority by the Parliament alone. Okay, emergency provision. Center gains complete control during emergencies. Single citizenship. Okay, equal rights throughout the nation. 511. Integrated judiciary. Supreme Court oversees both the central and state laws under Article 141. Okay. Integrated judiciary. All India services. Center controls the services under Article 312. Okay. Tomorrow, governor, office of governor. Governor acts as an agent of the president or the agent of center, a central representative. Integrated audit by CAG can audit both central and states. Parliamentary authority. Parliament can legislate on central list. Oh, Parliament can legislate on state list if necessary under Article 249. Okay, ଯଦି ରାଜ୍ୟସଭା ଗୋଟେ resolution pass କରିବ then Parliament is free to legislate on state list also. Okay, so these are the unitary and federal features of Indian Constitution given in a diagram for quick revision. B.R. Ambedkar, okay, we have seen, he has said that India has dual polity, union state derive authority from constitution. India is an indestructible union of destructible states. तमे चाहिए states माने destroy ही पारिबे but the union cannot be destroyed. Okay, union cannot be destroyed तारो corollary हेले तमरो it also means that states have no right to secede. Okay, states have no right to secede away from the union because जदि को state कहला मु इंडियन यूनियन रो बाहर जीवी ताले यूनियन टा भांगी जीवो but union टा destroy हे जीवो but India has indestructible union. Okay, again features of parliamentary system এটা আমি দেখিলে already. Nominal parliamentary system, nominal and real executive, president is the nominal, de jure head, PM is the real head, de facto head, majority party will rule. Collective responsibility under Article 75. Ministers are responsible to the Lok Sabha, double membership. Ministers in both executive and legislature. Dissolution of Lok Sabha before the term ends. President can dissolve Lok Sabha on the PM's advice before its term under Article 85. Secrecy. Ministers maintain confidentiality. Okay. India British model compare karibo. Britain head of state is the king or queen. That is monarchy. It is hereditary head. But India the head is indirectly elected. It is the president. That's why republic. Republic where the head of state is elected. Monarchy where the head of state is hereditary. Supremacy of constitution. India. Supremacy of parliament in Britain. Prime minister can be a member from any house, but Britain तमरो house of commons रो ही तमरो लोक सभा रो ही तमरो PM हबाको पड़ियो. Ministers, non-parliament members are also allowed, but for 6 months only. But तमरो ब्रिटेन में तमरो यूजुअली पार्लियामेंट रो मेंबर माने ही अपॉइंट करा जाए एज मिनिस्टर्स. लीगल रिस्पांसिबिलिटी इंडिया रे लीगल रिस्पांसिबिलिटी किसी नाही. मिनिस्टर्स काउंटर साइन एक्ट्स इन ब्रिटेन. तमरो जदी इंडिया रे जदी कोनोसी बिल पास करा गला सेदरे देयर इज मिनिस्टर्स आर नॉट bound to give the signature, but in Britain ministers are bound to sign. Shadow cabinet system, एमती किसी institution नहीं इंडिया रे, but they can be formed in India. But shadow cabinet is institutionalized by the opposition in Britain to balance the ruling cabinet and prepare ministers for future ministerial office. Okay, what a comparison दिखता. This is the last thing for today. Comparison between of Indian constitution with other countries. Okay, India, UK, US, Canada, France, Japan, South Africa. So India आगे India रो देखि दबा तापर अलगा माने को कंपेयर कर दबा. India रे the constitution is written in the constitution. Fundamental rights अच्छी part 3 रे amendment procedure rigid plus flexible both. Okay, separation of powers अच्छी executive, legislature and judiciary are separated. Okay, judicial review, Supreme Court, okay, it can do judicial review. System of government is parliamentary system of government with quasi-federal features. Okay, head of state is the president, ceremonial head. It is because India is a republic. Party system, it is multi-party system. Emergency, president can declare national emergency. Official language Hindi and English. Okay, बाकी सब देखि दबा. एबे ब्रिटेन रो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, it is unwritten constitution based on statutes, conventions and treaties. Okay, तो तार unwritten constitution माने तार provision they can be easily changed. बाकी सबुथरे written and codified constitution. Okay, because they are codified means written and codified means ताकर provision cannot be changed easily. Okay, जदि change हे पाइबन ता माने तार constitution rigid ही हे जिवो. Okay, same thing, rigid सबुथरे rigid. Constitution amendment will be rigid because the constitution is written and codified. Because UK it is unwritten, UK amendment procedure is not formalized. Okay, तो पार्लियामेंट चाहिए तुमरा चेंज कर पारिबो. ओके, फंडामेंटल राइट्स नॉट एक्सप्लिसिटली डिराइव्ड फ्रॉम कॉमन लॉ एंड स्टैट्यूट्स. ओके, फंडामेंटल राइट्स एंटी कि एक्सप्लिसिटली मेंशन करा जायनी, बट बाकी सब तरह फंडामेंटल राइट्स को एक्सप्लिसिटली लिखा हे जायछि. ओके, जे फंडामेंटल राइट्स के चेंज कर दो. यूएस रे जेंति बिल ऑफ राइट्स अछि, फर्स्ट 10 अमेंडमेंट्स, जेंति तम कनाडा रे चार्टर ऑफ राइट्स अछि, तमरो फ्रांस रे डिक्लेरेशन ऑफ राइट्स ऑफ मैन एंड सिटीजन. तो ई तीनटा ही मन रखो. बाकी जापान रो अछि मन रखिया दरकार नै. साउथ अफ्रीका रे भी बिल ऑफ राइट्स अछि. amendment procedure हम ऑलरेडी कहले ब्रिटेन रे फॉर्मलाइज नहीं. पार्लियामेंटरी सोवरेनिटी अछि ब्रिटेन रे, इट कैन अमेंड, बट बाकी सब तरह रिजिड अमेंडमेंट प्रोसेस. ओके, ओके सॉरी, तो कनाडा रे फ्लेक्सिबल अमेंडमेंट प्रोसेस अछि बिकॉज़ द सेंटर इज स्ट्रांग. ओके, आई एम एक्सट्रीमली सॉरी, सेंटर इज स्ट्रांग, सेंटर कैन अमेंड. ओके, सेंटर कैन अमेंड द पार्लियामेंट. So majority in parliament पाइले the central government, because the central government is unitary, it is strong, it can amend the constitution. Okay, तो तमरो फ्रांस रे rigid amendment procedure, majority required in both houses plus referendum भी दरकार, referendum on the people. जापान रे भी rigid, majority in both houses plus majority votes. Again South Africa रे भी rigid. separation of powers. Okay, Britain there is no strict separation as the parliamentary supreme. USA clear separation ଅଛି executive legislature judiciary ଭିତରେ କାନାଡା ରେ ବି clear separation ଅଛି parliamentary system ତମର France ରେ ବି clear separation ଅଛି ଏଥିରେ ବି ଜାପାନ ଓ ସାଉଥ ଆଫ୍ରିକା ରେ ବି separation ଅଛି judicial review yes ଇଣ୍ଡିଆ ରେ ତ ଅଛି but Britain ରେ ଯେହେତୁ parliamentary sovereignty ଅଛି ତମ judicial review ସେମିତି ନାହିଁ okay US ରେ ତମର Marbury versus Madison case ଏଟା ଚାହିଁଲେ ତମେ ମନେ ରଖିପାରିବ judicial review ର judicial review କୋଉ case ରେ okay this Marbury versus Madison case, this case established the idea of judicial review in USA. तापर this idea has been adopted in India. Okay. Canada रे भी judicial review अच्छी. Supreme Court has judicial review. France रे भी yes Constitutional Council checks compliance. Okay. तमरो judicial review जोटा कि judicial review तो नुह तमरो Constitutional Council they ensure that Constitution हिसाब रे सब ruling होची. Japan रे भी yes Supreme Court reviews the laws. South Africa रे भी same constitutional courts can review constitutional laws. System of government, parliamentary government in UK, federal system in USA, federal system in Canada with strong unitary bias. Okay, central government is stronger in Canada. France as you have seen semi-presidential system, unitary with autonomy. Okay, unitary system अच्छी but autonomy भी अच्छी. Parliamentary system, unitary with local autonomy given in Japan. Parliamentary system, republican. Okay, parliamentary republic, unitary system in South Africa. Head of state, Britain the monarch. Head of state in USA is the president. Canada monarch is the head of state, ceremonial head. France president is the head of state. Okay, executive head, and Japan the emperor ceremonial head. South Africa president is the executive head. Party system, multi-party system. India two-party system in Britain, the Labour Party and the okay, sorry, I'm forgetting the party name. Okay, very extremely sorry. ଗୋଟେ ହେଉଛି Labour Party ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ତମର okay, sorry, I'm forgetting. US ରେ ବି two-party, Republican and Democrats, multi-party system in France, multi-party system in Canada, multi-party system in France. Okay, again ଏଥିରେ ବି multi-party system. Emergency powers, president can declare national emergency, and ତମର India ରେ ଏଠି ତମର Britain ରେ government can declare emergency. Okay, yes, government can declare because it is parliamentary government, so government can declare. President can declare national emergency in USA. Prime Minister can declare national emergency in Canada. President, being the head of state, can declare emergency in France. Okay. Japan maybe PM can declare, President can declare in South Africa. Official language, US English, Britain English, US no official language at federal level. Tomorrow, Canada English and French, France French, Japanese in Japan, English and Afrikaans in South Africa. Okay. So this was for today.